Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. So today we have a battle against Kobra. This is a guy we got off of Discord. He's sort of a rising star on the Discord scene. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But in any event, there is his team on the right-hand side. Pretty interesting combination of Pokemon all over the place tier-wise to kind of balance out, which is pretty cool. Looking at my team, it is the same one that I have been using the past several games here, sort of a mid to lower mixed tier as well. So looks to be an interesting one once again on paper. So what do I want to lead with in this one? That is a good question. Good question indeed. I think we're going to go with the Rotom again in this one. I think that's our best bet to try and get something going against his team here. And so, yeah, we'll see how that works out. All right. So, it looks like he is going to go ahead and lead with the Swampert, as we led with the Rotom Mow form. So this is pretty good for us, actually, for the fact that we can do a couple of different things to this thing. We could either trick it a Choice Specs, obviously, or we could try to nail it with a Leaf Storm, Choice Specs boosted. Alternatively, we could anticipate a switch and go for a Volt Switch. I don't know if I really want to make that risky prediction right out of the gate here. He does have switches into the Leaf Storm, obviously. He also has switches to us tricking him with Choice Specs. So I'm not 100% sure what I want to do here. I don't know if the Choice Specs will be super valuable this game. But you know what? I think anything that he switches, or some of the things he switches in, would get hurt by having a Choice Specs, but all the same, you know what, I think we're just going to make the obvious play right away and go for the Leaf Storm. He does actually stay in. Very, very risky play on his side, trying to over-predict us, but we just blast him with a Choice Specs Leaf Storm, one-shot that Swampert, and knock him straight down to 5 Pokemon. So that is pretty incredible for us, pretty incredible start. The only bad news is we are obviously locked into Leaf Storm now as he comes in with the Necrozma. So that's bad for us because we definitely don't want to stay in on this matchup here. The only question is, what do we want to switch in on a Necrozma? I feel like, depending on what this Necrozma set is, obviously this could be very bad for us. How do we want to play this? I want to switch into something that it can apply some form of pressure to him. So I feel like we'll go for the we're gonna go for the Cyclizar, I think. Yeah, we're gonna go for a Cyclizar switch here and see what he wants to do. Hopefully he doesn't start setting up on us, because that would obviously be pretty catastrophic. But we'll go straight to the Cyclizar here, see what he wants to do. As he goes for a Meteor Beam, so that's not great. So he's Meteor Beam, and is he going to be the Power Herb? Probably. He's going to get that special attack increase, of course, and then, yep, he's going to be the Power Herb set, so that's extremely unfortunate. He's going to go for that boosted Meteor Beam, and that's just going to one-shot our Cyclizar outright. So that's pretty awful for us. As we lose Cyclizar, we go down to 5 Pokemon, so that's a tough loss for us there. I feel like our best bet in this situation is gonna probably be our Hisuian Typhlosion, I'm thinking. That's probably our best answer to this thing. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Unfortunately, we lost a Pokemon that could outspeed it in the Cyclizar, so we're gonna come in with the Hisuian Typhlosion. And so we have a bit of a choice on our hands here. We could go straight for a Shadow Ball, although even though Shadow Ball is super effective, I think because we're at full HP, Eruption might actually do more, and it is a safer play depending on what he might switch into here. So I think we're going to go Eruption instead, see what he wants to do. He does stay in. We go for the Eruption at max power. Not quite enough to take him out, unfortunately, but does massive damage as he goes for a Trick Room, which is pretty unfortunate. So that's going to go ahead and flip the speed levels of all the Pokemon for several turns. So That's an interesting play. How do we want to combat that is the question. I feel like... What do we do here? So we know he's going to outspeed us now. He's probably going to try to take us out with an attack of some kind. I think this time what we're going to do is we're actually going to switch directly into our Clef Key. I think that's the play here. Reason being is because I think we want to try and save that Hisuian Typhlosion for later. We'll see what else he's got in store. So we come in with the Clef Key here as he is going to go for a Photon Geyser. It is special attack boosted and does just about half to us, which is quite a lot of damage. But fortunately, I should say, we do survive, and then we get some HP back with the leftovers. So we know almost his full set here. The only question is his last move going to be some form of coverage for us? If it is, that's going to be pretty bad. So we have to think about how we want to handle this situation, because if he has some kind of fire coverage for us, obviously, that could be bad. How do we want to play this? I almost want to go for a Calm Mind, but at the same time, I also want to go for a Lair of Spikes. So I'm not 100% sure how I want to do this, because I feel like he may very well have the fire coverage on deck, which would be really bad. I think I kind of want to get Spikes up, so we're going to go Spikes here. Yeah, we're going to go Spikes. So he does stay in. We go Spikes. So we get one Lair of Spikes on him, which is something. And we'll see what he wants to do here. He's going to go, his Moonlight. So his last move is Moonlight. So that's actually not too bad for us, as he goes, I mean, it is bad in a sense because he gets a bunch of HP back, but it's good in the sense that we know he has nothing to hit us with, essentially, as we get some HP back with the leftovers. Now, what that means is that we could actually probably start going for a couple of Calm Minds here, even though Photon Geyser did, although maybe not, because Photon Geyser did almost half, so maybe we can't do that, actually. We could have gone for a Calm Mind that turn, but I don't know. I feel like Photon, Calm Mind's going to be too risky. So probably what we have to do here is it might be time for us to bust out the secret weapon. I think that's really our only play here. So yeah, let's do it. Let's go for the secret weapon here. He goes for another Photon Geyser. We should be able to take it after the leftovers recovery, barely with 13 HP. We go for the Steel Beam. We do connect with it, which is amazing. Does massive damage to the Necrozma. Not quite enough to take it out, unfortunately, as we go down to 4 Pokemon here, so taking ourselves out with the recoil damage. But the only good thing about this is that the Trick Room is still up, which means we can safely switch into a Pokemon that is slower than this thing, that being the Glastrier, and with how weakened this thing is, it definitely can't take another attack. Now, he could try to switch to save this thing here. It's very possible at this point. However, he does have some switches, not a ton, but I feel like as long as we could go for a high horsepower and hopefully not miss, we would be in good shape here. Alternatively, we could go Icicle Crash. That's more accurate. So yeah, let's go Icicle Crash. So we go Icicle Crash. We don't miss, thankfully. He does stay in. The Icicle Crash does get rid of the Necrozma and knock him down to 4 Pokemon, so that's pretty good. And of course, we do get the Chilling Neigh to increase our physical attack. And unfortunately for us, the Trick Room is going to wear out this turn. And I say unfortunately because the Glastrier, being slower than everything on his team, could have actually gone on a mini rampage there, but now it is not going to be able to do so. But that's okay. We got rid of that big problem in the Necrozma and tied us up at 4-4, so that's not too bad. So, and we did get to keep our 1 layer of spikes up too, which is nice. So we'll see what he wants to come in with in response to that to face the Glastrier. It is going to be the of course, that is the Sinestcha. So, yeah, or Poltergeist. So anyway, that thing comes in. It takes some spikes damage. Now, we're in an interesting situation here because obviously this thing could Terra. We could Terra as well, but unfortunately our Terra is going to be into a type that this thing is actually super effective against. So I don't know that Terraing is actually the right play for us here. I feel like he could be going for a Terra here of some kind. Can't say for sure, but it is going to be kind of a difficult decision for us to make here. We should be able to take an attack from this thing, but what would he Terra into is the question. I feel like we pretty much just have to stay in and go Icicle Crash and try to bait what he's going to do here. I think that's our play. So let's just go Icicle Crash. I don't want to Terra. He actually goes Strength Sap instead, interestingly enough. So that's not going to give him, it does cut our attack, and it is going to give him that little bit of HP back there. As we go Icicle Crash, we don't miss, but we have a lowered attack stat. Even so, it does knock this thing all the way down to, it looks like a Focus Sash. Oh no, never mind. He just gets the epic 1 HP Survive instead. But then he gets some HP back with leftovers. So this seems like a little bit of a losing game potentially for him to play. At the same time, I feel like our best play in this situation is going to be to go back to Rotom. So that's what we're going to do here. He could try to outlast us with Strength Saps, but I don't know that he's going to want to do that. But we'll switch in with Rotom Mow instead anyway, as this turn he is going to go ahead and bust out the Terra. So what is he going to Terra into to try and better take on what the Glastrier would have been? It is going to be a Steel type. Okay, so he is probably going to try to stall us out with that Strength Sap. So indeed, he does go for another Strength Sap, and it does hit our Rotom. Despite Rotom being a Grass type, it still does connect with us, and he does get some HP back, not a ton, but he does get some back, and then he gets more back with the leftovers. So I'm actually okay with that, just because of the fact that that made him burn his Terra. So now we know that with no electric immunities on his team here, we can pretty safely go for a Choice Specs Volt Switch, so that's exactly what we're going to do. And yeah, we'll just kind of go from there. He does stay in, we outspeed him, go Volt Switch. It is enough from that range to go ahead and finish that thing off and knock him down to 3 Pokemon, which is pretty incredible for us, as we do get the pivot with the Rotom. The only bad thing about this is that since we knocked him out with a pivot move, we are going to have to show first. But I think our best case scenario here is actually going to be to go ahead and come in with the Conkeldurr. So yeah, we're actually going to go ahead and just go right into Conkeldurr. This will give us our opportunity to go ahead and activate our Flame Orb to get burned, activating our Guts, obviously, which is going to give us a massive attack increase. So, and most of the Pokemon that he has left are actually weak to fighting, so that's actually pretty nice for us, as now he's going to go ahead and come in with the Sableye. So how do we want to handle this thing is the question. So I'm not sure that Sableye can do a ton to us, but we could also, let's see, how do we want to play this? We do have some options here. I feel like our best option is to just go for a knockoff and see how much damage we can get, so that's what we're going to do. He actually goes for a knockoff of his own. Not going to do too much damage to us, and gets rid of our Life Orb, which doesn't really matter, as we go for a knockoff on him. Going to do massive damage to that thing, and get rid of its heavy-duty boots for what it's worth, as I almost failed to realize it didn't take the spikes damage, so yeah, it had those. But we are going to take some burn damage here now. He could try to stall us out with this thing. I don't know if that's going to be a winning game for him to play. But we are, I think, I don't know if we Terra, because we are actually Terra Poison on here. I don't know if a Terra Poison Jab could take this thing out or not. I kind of feel like it won't. So let's just Poison Jab him anyway and see how much damage we can get. He is just going to recover, so that's annoying. So he's going to go for a Recover, and that is going to put him back up to almost full HP as we go for a Poison Jab to scout damage. Not going to do too much of anything. It is resisted. Don't get lucky with the poison there, which is unfortunate, and then we're going to take some burn damage. So this is a losing battle for us, so we have to switch out. I think our best bet is we could either go to the Rotom or the Glastrier. I feel like we go to the Rotom. I think that's our best bet. He could knock off again, but hopefully he doesn't. But yeah, we'll just have to see what he wants to do. But we're going to go to the Rotom anyway, as he is going to Encore to try to lock us into Poison Jab. Obviously not going to work since we switched. And so this turn, once again, I think we can pretty safely just go Choice Specs Volt Switch again. It's our best move for the situation, so that's what we're going to do. We do outspeed him, nail him with that Choice Specs Volt Switch. It is enough to go ahead and finish that Sableye off, knocking him down to just 2 Pokemon, and of course, once again, we are going to get the pivot here with the Rotom, and I think our best bet here, we have a couple of options. How do we want to handle this is the question. I feel like, I think our best bet is going to be... I think we're actually going to come in with the Hisuian Typhlosion now, because I want to see where this is going to take us here, as he only has 2 Pokemon left. So I want to bait in... here it is. It is going to be the King Gambit. I kind of figured that was going to happen. So he comes in with the King Gambit, takes some spikes damage, and he's going to get the Supreme Overlord for a massive attack boost. So I kind of wanted to bait the King Gambit in here. I feel like the Sucker Punch is pretty obvious. If he goes for it, it's kind of fine. We could Terra. I think we're Terra Fire here, so we could Terra Fire to lose our weakness. But even so, I think it probably takes us out with a Sucker Punch anyway, if he goes for it. So I think what we're going to do is here instead, in case he tries to get greedy, is we're just going to go Flamethrower here. As he actually does, we do go for the Flamethrower. Does just cleanly take out the King Gambit from there, which is pretty incredible, and knock him down to just 1 Pokemon. So that is pretty awesome for us, as that the mind games worked out in our favor. Now his last Pokemon is going to be that Hisuian Avalugg, so that thing's going to come in. It takes some spikes damage. There's no reason for us to switch here, really. We're just going to go ahead and go Flamethrower again. We are Choice Scarf, but we are max special attack. Even so, it is enough to just go ahead and take that thing outright. And that is game. So we are going to win that one 4-0 against Kobra, but that was a pretty fun match, actually. Pretty interesting one there. Yeah, I'm actually glad that, ironically, against this guy, I got a chance for my Hisuian Typhlosion to shine here, because Hisuian Typhlosion, the last several games that I've been using it on this team, hasn't done much, so I'm actually happy that I was able to get it to shine here in this one in a pretty fun match. So, but yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new videos in the future. Also, this is going to be the last match that I post with this team. I did have a lot of fun using it, and it turned out very successfully for me, actually. I was very proud with how this team performed overall competitively. But as is always the case, I am going to be putting it to the side now. And once again, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to be doing next time for you guys. I might do some more doubles or multi. I might do another singles team. I might do something else. I'm really not sure. I'm just kind of in the phase of my Scarlet and Violet battles, where I'm just kind of shooting from the hip here, so it's just kind of like whatever the mood strikes me to do. But yeah, there definitely will be more new content in the future, so stay tuned for that. That's it, and we'll see you next time.